Minerva has two main parts, I will call it, which is a CRO, a contract research organization, which is the initial scope of the company from its creation in 2011, with the implementation of the CDMO, which is the area that I manage. We can produce the radiopharmaceutical products that are going to be used in clinical trials with humans. And this is called CDMO. And for that, the GMP regulations are required. And so only the CDMO part of Minerva Imaging is accredited for the good manufacturing practices, okay? And this is where we use SimplerQMS software as an electronic quality system to support the electronic quality system at our operations in CDMO. I think that the strategy of implementation proposed by SimplerQMS is very powerful. I think it provides this way of setting up the project, let's say, in different phases. It's really what is required by GMPs, and is very effective in a sense that you can keep track. So we have the shared responsibility of keeping track of the phases, and this helps a lot the change control processes. So whenever you need to run a change, you have documentation already issued by SimplerQMS, and pre-discuss it with us, so that you can yourself use that documentation indirectly into your quality system. So it's not something totally abstract that you will need to adapt anyhow to your system. It's tailored for you. And I think that's key for the implementation process, the organization in phases. I know that many other companies for quality systems are operating in a similar way, but with standard packages. And what I think that is very powerful of SimplerQMS is that the possibility of tailoring the package. Being a contract organization, we are subject to inspection, very frequent inspections, both from clients and from authority, because at each new product that it need to be launched in our facility, the client needs probably 2 or 3 inspections, audits, before we can launch the product, because they want to be absolutely sure that we stand up to their quality requirements. And despite you might think that GMPs are global or are, let's say, Europeans, let's say there are many caveats and many things that you can set up on your own and could not have the perfect alignment that the client wants to their own quality system. So they want to be, let's say, aligned to the greater extent in that sense. Good and positive thing is that we have already electronically available the documentation, so you can forward whatever the inspectors, the auditors are asking in relation to the inspection quite fast and quite efficiently. But what makes a lot of difference is when you are, let's say, having the inspection, so during the inspection, that you can, let's say, by consulting the system directly. So what we do choose always as a strategy is to be fully transparent, and during the inspections to have the system open in a big screen on a meeting room. And basically, we are, let's say, navigating the different documents throughout let's say, the quality system according to the needs and the need for inspection of the inspector. So which is the approach the inspector is following. Like concrete example here, I would like to see your batch record. From the batch record, I would like to see the training of that person. From the training of that person who execute the work, I would like to see which is the background of that person. And from the background, then at that point only, we get into the papers. Otherwise, it's always digital, and you can do that in a matter of minutes. So that's a very appreciated by an inspector, because in the same amount of time you can go through much more things, and this is perceived for the inspector as a transparency, and this is what we like to show at the company. the system has been very effective to cope with the demands of the GMP requirements, has been very effective to cope with, let's say, the validation requirements. Let me say this, so far that has been inspected only once, the validation approach that you use, but I have some experience and expertise on validation of SaaS systems, and I can tell that I'm not fearing any gaps to be covered, as long from Minerva we are following very closely control of your changes over there. But out of that, the system has been very, very effective. So its effectiveness, what I will, let's say, emphasize as a main thing. When you are onboarding, but basically at CDMO, we are onboarding at the rate of 2 or 3 employees per month, let's say, something like that. So it really makes a lot of sense to us to have the employee onboarded on the procedures that they need to read in 1 month instead of 2. So basically, this is all up to training. So basically, I think that the training part is the thing that initially you get the most of. So I could refer that you could save up to 50% of the onboarding time, let's say, up to 50% of the onboarding time, for instead of 2 months to be 1 month, let's say. So in 4 weeks, you can have a very good read and understood process with a system that is easy to set up, and I will call it user friendly. I would say from the beginning, the company had the strategy to keep as many things digital as possible, which is something that I really, let's say, I'm fond of, let's say, as well myself. So I think that the system copes very well with that, especially because it's with the different models is integrating a lot that, and coupled with some support for the integration of new models is a very good solution.